Let's see, in orders table, we have performed all these data transformation operations here. Okay. Now let's see that how Power Query Editor converted all these steps into the MS script. Okay. For that, we need to find advanced editor. So you can see here advanced editor button. Click on it. Here you will see another window, that is advanced editor window. So behind the scenes, what Power BI did, Power BI converted all your steps into the MS script, right? So you can see, let's try to read this MS script. It's not mandatory for you guys to understand it, but it's just optional. Like if you want, you can read it. So what is the source of your data for this table? So you are loading the data from this OData feed, okay? And from this OData feed, there were like multiple tables. Which table you extracted? You extracted only the orders table. Then after, you removed these columns from your table, right? Removed columns. Then you changed the data type of order ID. You replaced some errors, okay? So in this way, basically, you can read your MS script also. Let's suppose if in case if you want to remove some other column also. So what you can do, you can start editing that script here. Let's say I want to remove order ID column also. So I can write here order ID, and once I'll click on this done, once I'll save it, order ID column will also be removed from my table. Okay, so it means like you can make the changes here also in MS script. Okay, but it's not much easy because it requires much practice and much knowledge of the MS script. Okay, it's just optional, but behind the scene, Power BI will convert all your scripts, okay, all your operations into the MS script. Got it? Next, we have which is faster. Okay, so obviously that right click. See, if I want to change the column name, okay, for this customer ID, so how I can change it from the front end? Just double click here on the column header and change the name. That's it. But if you want to do the same thing through the MS script, then it's a time taking process for you. Why? Because look, what you have to do, you have to write that much part. Okay, you have to write here, you have to come here, start writing like renamed steps, right? Renamed columns is equal to table dot, right? So it's completely a programming approach basically. Okay, so now obviously that right click thing is much quicker and much faster. Okay, in terms of performance, everything is same. Okay, just like few people like who are from the coding background, they wants to write some code. Okay, and the actual use of this query editor is into the embedded analytics. Okay, it is useful when you are integrating some Power BI components and you want some specific expression. For example, you want to perform this operation specific. So you can get this specific code from here and you can leverage it in another programming languages. Let's say you are going to embed your Power BI data model or Power BI report in any other like application, and that application is based on like .NET, C#. So at that time, it might be useful, okay, for programmers. Got it? So it's very quicker. It's not a time taking process. But if you want to do it from mQuery, then you can do that. Okay. Generally, mQuery was not for the end user purpose. Okay. It was only for Power BI. But because if you know whatever the data modeling, whatever the operations you perform in Excel, if you know Excel also converts everything into a query. Anybody tried that to see that how Excel converts that thing into the query? Yeah, Microsoft Excel basically converts everything, every function, every operations into a query. Okay, how it works. No, not in form. It depends in different scripts. Sometimes in VB, sometimes even in MS script. So this is very interesting thing. Okay, next we were going to see another scenario. For example, let's say if you have created some complex data model, right? And when I say complex, like you are getting the data, you are extracting the data from multiple data sources. For example, like few data you are loading from Workday tables, for some data you are loading from Excel, some is from SQL Server, some is from cloud databases, and after that, a lot of like manual or like flat files you also added. right? So let's say here you have around 50-60 tables. Okay, so now it is very difficult for the new person, or maybe sometimes for you also, like to understand that which table is coming from which source. Okay, so what you can do to have the better understanding on the queries on the tables, you can use a query dependency feature. How to see that query dependency? That for that you just go here into the view tab, and there is query dependency. So using this, you can see all your queries, all your tables in a tree format. Okay, and you can, let's just make it zoom in, and here you can see that all the dependencies of your tables. For example, this is your main source. When I select the main source, all tables have been highlighted. Means from this source, all these tables were created. Okay. In case if I select any table, right? Let's say again, I'm going to click on query and dependency. Now, let's say I want to see this shipper table, right? So I want to know that shipper's table is coming from which source. So what I'll do, I'll select this table only, and it will highlight that source also. This is a very simple data model. So here it is very easy for you to quickly understand. Okay, but in some scenarios where you have like 10 to 15 sources and like 60 70 tables, and that at that time it would be very confusing for you to understand, to know that this table is coming from which source, or let's say this table is linked with which table. Okay, so this is query dependency. Now if you want, let me create a duplicate table. I'm going to create a duplicate table of this orders table. So I just right click on it and click on duplicate orders to. Okay, now let's click on query dependency. You can see orders table is also highlighting to your source. Why? Because this is a duplicated table. But in case if you get any other table, okay, if you get any other table from like Excel, then what will happen? Let me show you that. I'm going to load some data here. Two tables I'm going to load. I'm just deleting this duplicate one. Okay, so these two tables I added from the Excel. Now let's go to the query dependency. Now you can see that one more data source has been added. When I click on fill, so it is highlighting to this source. Okay, so this is very helpful to know that the sources and the tables linking with data sources. Okay, all right. Next topic is, let me just come here, manage columns. Okay, so now we are going to see the manage column systems. Under the manage columns, when I say manage columns means I'm talking about this section. Okay, under the manage columns, you have some options which you can perform on your columns. For example, in your orders tables, in your orders table you have 14 columns. Okay, and only like let's say 3 columns you need. Okay, which 3 columns you want? You don't want to select them like this, manually scrolling them. So what you can do, you can just quickly go here and choose columns, go to choose columns, and from here you can choose, let's say you want order ID, customer ID, and freight. You selected these columns and click OK. These columns will be there. Rest of other columns will be removed from your data model. Right. So it is very quick when you are working on like around like more columns, in case like when you are working on like 30, 40, 50, 100 columns. So in that situation, this feature is very useful. Instead of like selecting columns like this, select 2 columns, then scroll it like and search where is freight like this, and after that you right click, and what you want, select remove other columns. So the difference between remove column and remove other columns means remove columns will be removed only the selected columns, and this remove other columns will remove all the other columns except selected columns. All right, next question I can see here. We can always add or remove columns after data is loaded. Yes, it depends. It is not mandatory, but for example, if you are loading the data from Excel, okay, then you do not have any flexibility to write a script and to load like in Excel. Let's say you have 80 columns, okay, but for your reporting purpose, you want only 15 columns. So you do not have any flexibility, like from the source, you only extract the 15 columns. Okay, So ultimately you will have to load all 80 columns, and after that you will choose 15 columns and rest of the 65 columns will be removed. Okay. But in case if you are loading the data from SQL Server database, so you can write a SQL script, SQL query, select 15 columns from this table, and that script you can pass here into the Power BI. So in this way, from source you are retrieving only the required columns, but in case of Excel, you retrieve all columns first, then you removed the other unnecessary columns. Okay, retrieve all columns first, then you removed the other unnecessary columns. Okay, got it. In case if there are like any duplicate columns, duplicate data in your table, so you can remove that. How? Very simple, like same as like Excel. Here you can see into the into this reduced rows tab, right? So manage column is moreover like removing the columns only and choosing the columns only. Okay. Now, for example, if you want to remove the duplicate from the customer ID, so what you can do, select that, remove and duplicates, right? So duplicate records have been removed from here. So here multiple operations you have, like if you want to keep top 10 records, right? If you want to have top 10, but before that, what I want, okay, so I'm going in the order details. Here I have quantity column and unit price, right? So what I want here, based on the quantity, I want to get the top 10 records, okay, top 10 orders, okay. So let's say I want to get only those orders where the quantity is like top 10. So what you can do, instead of like making the change in the original table, it's better that create a duplicate table. Okay. So I created a duplicate table here. Now let's sort the data in this table based on the quantity. So here I go in the sorting, sort it to the highest to lowest value. Your data has been sorted, right, based on the quantity. Now what you can do, you can get the top 10 records from here. So how to get these top 10 records, top 10 orders? So what you can do, you can go to keep rows, because we want to keep top 10 only. So just go here, keep top rows, enter the 10 here and click on OK. So here you got top 10 orders, right? Here one thing is possible, like maybe for one order we may have like multiple lines, right? But here it is not doing the grouping of your data, right? Let's say we have this 1076 for record, and for this, like there is like one line having the 130 column, 130 quantities, and like let's say this for the same order we may have some other lines also, but for the like 2 3 5 very small quantities. Okay, so what you want to first group by all the data, right, all the quantity for each order, and after that you want the top 10 orders, right, based on the quantity. You got my point? So what you can do here, for that purpose, first you need to understand that how grouping works into the query editor, right? So let's group it first. What we are going to group, order ID and quantity. Okay, we are going to group order ID based on the quantity. So select order ID column, okay, and go to group by. Here you are going to group by order ID, right? So that column is already selected here. If you want, you can change it from here also. New column name you have to provide here. This is your total placed, total ordered quantity, right? And what you want on this column, do you want to count or do you want to sum? Obviously we want to sum all the quantities. So let's go here and select sum. And which column you want to sum? Quantity column. Done. Now click OK. So here you will get only two columns, right? Order ID and total ordered quantity. It means for this order, total quantity is placed 27. For this order, total quantity is placed 49. Now let's sort this based on the ordered quantity. So select this column and sort it highest to lowest value. Now get the top 10 orders. Okay. So for that, just go here, keep top rows, and these are your top 10 records. All right. Now you can change the table name. Top 10 orders based on quantity. Right. So how easy it is like to do this such kind of modeling, such kind of data preparation in query editor. Is it clear that how we use the grouping and sorting and keep rows functionality instead of keep row only, like you have keep bottom rows, keep range, okay, like from middle also, like for example from like 20th row to 30th row you want to keep, then that also you can use from here. Okay, if you want to keep duplicates only, in the same way you can remove top 10, you can remove like top from bottom rows. Okay, all right. Question I can see, let's say I had 15 columns when I loaded and I decided to work with 5 columns. Can I add remaining columns after loading? Yes, you can do that. So here you can see you want to keep only 3 columns, right? Initially when you loaded the data there were 14 columns. Okay, now you decided to work with 3 columns. With which 3 columns? With these 3 columns. Okay, so now you have 3 columns, other 11 columns have been removed. Now later on you decided like you want 2 more columns. Okay, so how to add those 2 columns here? Nothing, simple, just go here. Okay, double click on it and you can add 2 columns, or you can go here again, choose columns, and you can add, let's say, these 2 new columns and click OK. Okay, so at any time you can enable or disable the columns from your table. Okay, so the best way is like always keep the minimum tables, minimum columns and minimum rows in your data. If there is any unnecessary data or unnecessary column, then it will degrade the performance. Okay, so the best practice says like only keep the required data in your table. Okay, it's a general practice. It's clear. In the same case, like if you are loading the data from SQL server, right? And let's say you added you wrote a script in SQL server, like let's say you are going to select like cust name and cust number right from customers. Okay, so what you'll do, you will simply use this query in Power BI. Okay, and in future if you want to add another column also, so you will simply add here city. That's it. Once data will be refreshed in Power BI, city column will also be there automatically. All right. All right, next question I can see here, are you going to cover custom functions? Yes, we'll see the custom functions also. I have connected the data to a folder. I have connected the data to a folder. Will these sheets be automatically updated if an extra workbook is added in the folder? Yes, you're right. If any extra workbook you add in the same folder and structure of that newly added workbook is also same, then that will be automatically added into the Power BI. Once you will refresh the data in Power BI, that will be automatically synced into the Power BI. Question I can see in group by, can we get all the fields in a table instead of getting only 2 columns? Yes, you can do that. It depends on your requirement. It is just a grouping. Whether you want to do a grouping on a one column level or 2 column level or 3 column. For that, what you can do, simply just go here in group by again and go to advanced column. Okay, here like on order ID, on customer ID, on product employee ID, I want to do grouping. Okay, so you can add multiple columns here from this advanced tab. Got it? And also aggregation, multiple aggregation also you can do. Not like only one column you want to sum. No, you can sum the another column. You can do any aggregation also on any other column also. Okay, so if you want to perform grouping and aggregation on multiple columns, then you have to come in advanced tab. Otherwise from the basic tab, like if you want to perform it only on one column. Okay, all right, next question I can see here, do I have flexibility to add those columns even after I complete data transformation? Yes, you can do that also. Like once you complete the data transformation, what you do, you load the data in Power BI desktop. Okay, so your data will be here in Power BI desktop. No problem. Again, go to the query editor by just clicking on this transform data. You will again here on the query editor, and you can add them and add those columns again by just going to this choose columns. Okay, anytime. Okay, now let's move to the next. Okay, so merge column we have, manage column we have seen. Reduce rows means filtering the data. That is here, reduce rows, like you can keep the rows, you can remove the rows like top 10, duplicate, all these. Okay, data sort, split. Split is also a very important feature sometimes. Let's say you want to split the value of any column. Okay, So for that, let's go here into the customers table, right? So in customers table, you can see there is contact name. Okay. So right now it is having the first name and last name. So you want to split. You want to split the data of this column, right? Based on like first name and last name, something like this. Okay. So like right click on it and go to a split column. Here you have multiple options. By delimiter, you want to split, by fixed number of characters, by positions, by lowercase, by uppercase, multiple things. Okay. So let's use by delimiter because based on the space, I want to split the column values. Delimiter. Space is selected here. If you want, you can choose any other also, and you can give the custom delimiter also. For example, if somewhere is like hash, so you can do like this also. So based on the space, I want to split it. For splitting, you can choose like from the leftmost delimiter, from rightmost, or the each occurrence of the space. Okay, so I'm choosing each instead of choosing the each occurrence, I'm going to select leftmost delimiter. Okay, so from the leftmost space, it will be removed. It will be splitted. If there will be like some like 3 words in any specific name, then what will happen? First name will come in the one column, and the rest of the 2 records, rest of the 2 words will come into the another column. So let's click OK. Here you can see that your values have been splitted. This is, let's say, your first name, and it's the second name, it's the last name. This could be sometime useful. For example, if you have such kind of data, right? Generally, for example, you have something like invoice 001, invoice 002, and in the same record you have CM 001, right? So now based on the like invoice number, you want to identify, based on the invoice number, you want to identify like what is the type, what is the document type of it, whether these are the invoices or these are the like credit memos. So what you can do for that, you need to find a pattern first. Okay, so let's say first 3 letters we cannot choose, right? Why? Because here INV 3 letters, and here CM only 2 letters. Okay, so what you can do, from last you can split them. Okay, what you can do, you can like, for example, if this number series is like always going in the 3 digits, so you can do that. Or if you do not have any other like document type in it, then what you can do, you can extract the first or like 2 character. Okay, so what you can do, you can extract like this, you can split it like this. Okay, and based on that you can split. Now where it is in, then it means it is invoice, and where it is CM, then it is credit memo. Okay, so sometimes you can also use this split functionality like this. And merge column is just vice versa of the split. Means if you want to again combine them, let's say first name and last name, you want to make it like a full name, and you want to concatenate the columns, and just select both the columns and merge columns. You can give a space between these two, and you can change the customer name. Just column name you can define here, customer name. Okay, all right. Next, we are moving to the grouping of data we have already seen. Next, we are going to see merge data and append data. These are the important one. So here you can see in order details table, you can see I have the product ID. Okay, so to bring the product name here, I need to use product ID column of this order details table and the product ID column of my product master table. Okay, so here you can see product ID, let's say 1 means chai, 2 is like syrup. Okay, so in the same way, like you want to bring the product name from the products table. It's something like VLOOKUP, or in case of like in terms of like SQL, it is join. Okay, so here you want to add another column. You want to add another column here for the product name. So what you'll do, you will have to merge your tables. Means you have to merge order details and products. So for that, you'll just select the table. Okay, and here you can go to the merge queries. So click on merge query. In merge query and append query, you can see 2 options. Merge query, it means an existing table if you want to merge, or if in a new table you want to merge, then you can choose merge query as new. So new table will be created, and in that you can merge. Okay, so it's up to you. So in the existing table, I want to add the product name. So I select order details, merge queries, and I want to get the product name from the products table. Select products table here. Now the relationship, the join would work based on the product ID column from the both tables, right? And this can also be joined. This can also be merged based on multiple columns also. Okay. That, for example, like sometimes you may have like order product ID and like order ID. So you can select multiple buttons also, multiple columns also. Okay. So it's up to you. But here in this example, we can only one column, product ID and product ID in both the columns, both the tables. Now, here you can see join kind. So this join kind will be automatically selected. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. But in case if manually you want to change, then you can change it from here. Okay, but what we are going to do, we are going to apply a left outer join. It means all will be checked. All products from the first table will be checked into your second table, and wherever it will find a match, it will bring the product name for that. Okay, you can see the total selection was like 2155 and all have been matched into the products table. Okay, let's click on this. Okay, and here you will get another column which is a referenced column of your products table. Okay, so this products table has been added here as a referenced column. Now you need to extract product name from this referenced column. To do that, you can see a double-sided arrow button here, right? So double-sided arrow button, just click on it. Here you will see all the buttons, all the columns of the products table. So you can choose product name only and click OK. Here you got the product name in your table. Now, if you want to move your product column, you can easily move that like this. Okay. Or in case if you want to make it, if you want to move it to the beginning, then you can just right click and move to the beginning. Okay. All right. So this is merge query. Merge query means like you are doing a join between your tables, between your multiple queries. That's it. All right. All right. So some people said like, can you please repeat this step? Okay. So let me just remove it. Join query, everything I'm removing. And I'm going to show you again. So now what's my requirement? In the order details table, product ID column is already there, but I want to bring product name column here. Okay, so you need to join your order details and products. Okay, so select your order details, click on merge query. This is your first table, right? The second table, from which table you want the product name? I want the product name from the products table. Now you need to choose the columns, right, based on the product ID. So this is like for products, this is the primary column, and for our order details, this is the foreign key column. Okay, select it, and here you can change the join, but don't change it because Power BI automatically select it for you. In case for any like special scenario you want, then you can change them here. All right, so I see question join kind. So join kind is like, for example, if you want to check all those records which exist in my order details, let's say there is like one order, one product, let's say 11, right? So 11 product data is coming here on my orders table, but that is not a part of my orders of my products table. So what will happen? It will bring the null for that. Okay, why? Because for 11 it will not find any product in products table. Okay, but what you want, if you want that only those records should be retrieved where you have the data in the products table, right? Then what you can do, you can do a right join. Means you can apply a right outer join. All records from the second table will be matched with the first one. Okay, inner join will, what will inner join will do? Inner join will check the records based like which are common in both the tables. Okay, and outer join and left anti join, what will do? All the records which exist in the first one only, not in the second one. Okay, and left anti, you can see left anti, right anti will do records only in the second table, not in the first table. So these are the joins type. Okay, by default Power BI automatically choose join type for you. Okay, now let's click OK. Here you got the referenced column. Now you need to extract from this referenced column, click on it, and here you can choose product name. Okay, if you want, you can choose multiple columns also and click OK. So Here you got the product name in your table. Now later on, if you realize that you want some more column from the products table, so join is query is already established, merge query is already established. You need to only expand another column. So you can just go here in the applied step and click on this setting window. And here, let's say you want to add this supplier ID also. So you select and that will also be added here. Okay. So it is join. Like if you want to get some data from any other table, then you can use the merge query. All right. Okay. Next question I can see here. Merge query is like a VLOOKUP function. Yes, absolutely right. Merge query is in terms of Excel, it's VLOOKUP. In terms of like database language, it is join. Okay. In terms of database language, it's join. Okay. Next question I can see here. Can we go through join kind options? Yes, join kind is basically just a join, like how you want to join your tables. Okay, Power BI works for you. Okay, but in case if you want to change it for any specific scenario, you can change that also. There is not any problem. Difference between right outer versus left outer, it's the same thing? Is it? No, it's not the same. It's different. So joins are like different type, right? So when you say left join, or you can say left outer join, it's same thing. Left join and left outer join is the same thing, right? But right join is different thing. There is inner join, right? There is left anti join, right anti join. Okay, these are like different joins. So it's not same. Right outer will take all records from the right and will match in the left one. Right outer will take all the records from left table and will match in the right table. Next question I can see, what is the difference between link and merge? Link. Where is link? I don't think so. Is there any feature, any button of link in Power BI? Or sorry, I cannot understand this link. What is link? Merge is nothing. It's join. Okay. Can you just please elaborate your question? What basically you want to know from this difference, link and merge? Next question. Next we can see here, what is append? Okay. So when you use merge, so what you are doing, you are expanding your columns. You are adding the records in column, in format of columns. Okay. But when you want to add some records in your table, right? Means like you have two tables and you want to join them, right? So actually it's not a join. Join is not the right word. When you want to get the data of two tables in one table, then we call it as a append in Power BI. And in case of SQL, it's union. And in case of Excel, it's HLOOKUP. Okay, like we are expanding rows in append, and in case of merge, we are expanding the columns. All right. Now let's see one example of append table. So when append table can be useful, let's suppose you are getting the data from let's say different. You have customers, okay, and you divided your customers based on like regions. Like your south customers data is coming from like from a CRM system, and your north customers data is coming, for example, like from the Excel, and from your like west customers data is coming from any other system. Okay, so what you will see, you will get the three tables here. Okay, so what you want to integrate all three tables data in the one table, so that it can be easy for you for data modeling and for reporting purpose. So in order to get that, get the data of these three tables in a one table, you can use append feature. Okay. So first, let me create a scenario here. So I'm going to create two duplicate tables. Okay. This is, let's say, my north customers. And here, let's say I keep only top 10 records. So these are the north customers here for me, right? And for this one, let's say I want to keep from bottom. these are my south customers. So it means 10 customers I have from south, 10 I have having the from north. So now what I want to create another table. Okay, in existing table also you can append them. Okay, but in another table, in a separate table, I want to append. So go here in append, and this time I'm going to choose append query as new. A new query, a new table will be created here. Okay, you want to append two tables. If you want, you can append more than two also, 3, 4, 5, as much as you want. North customers table and south customers table, right? Select them, and a new table has been created. Change it, change the name of it. This is your all customers. Okay, now you can see 20 customers, 10 customers from north, 10 from south has been appended in your one table. All right. So this is just a union. It means you are appending the data of your multiple tables in a single table. But there are some conditions. When you use this append, there are some conditions, like in which situation only you can use this functionality. Column names in all your tables should be same, and the data type also should be same. Got it? Column names and data type should be same. Position is not same, then no problem, but column name and the columns data type should be same always. If they are not same, then what will happen? Your appended query will treat those columns as a separate columns, right? Let's say this is order ID and this one is, let's say, order space ID, right? Now when I go to the appended customer, appended table, you see here in order ID, which is without a space, you see 10 customers are coming and rest of is null, right? Then you will see another table here, which is order space ID. Let me move it to the beginning where you can see order space ID. Okay. So what is happening now? Append is treating these two columns as different columns. Okay. Why? Because name is not same. So name should be exactly same. Okay. Then only it will be appended. It will be added into the same column. And the data type also should be same. These are the conditions. Data transformation is very important and a very like it's like a backbone for your data modeling. Okay. So I'll request all of you that do practice, get some data, start transformation on that. Try to explore the functionalities under query editor. Okay, I can see from where can we choose the append. Okay, so it's here under the home tab. Okay, all data transformation operations are available in Power Query Editor window. Never try to find here in the Power BI desktop. Okay, those are available in Power Query Editor window. Okay, in home, under the home tab, you can see there is append queries. Okay, just below to the merge query, there is append queries. Got it? Next question, I can see when we choose a file path as a data source, as me add more files to the source folder and refresh data sets, it is very similar to appending the data. Absolutely right. It is just in case of Excel data sources. What about if you are getting the data from SQL database? Then you are not putting any file and all, then you have to use append data. That folder data source is only for the Excel or CSV files only, not for the other. Maybe one customer data I'm getting from a database, SQL database, another one I'm getting from any cloud database, and then I want to append it. Okay, so at that time, these will be used. All right, next question I can see in append, second table should be unique set compulsory. No, it's not mandatory that should be having the unique records. It is not mandatory. I just took it for the better understanding. Okay, that's clear. It's not mandatory actually. Next question I can see, if Excel has main header in second row and table starts from fifth row, then how get data from first row? All right, let's do this quick. So to create this scenario first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the complete data of this table, copy entire table, putting it in Excel. Now let's say before this, there is one column that is exported data from Workday. Then after second row is having blank, and after that there is another record, another row that is having, let's say, something test one. After that, you have another blank row. Okay. Now let's save this file. I've saved it as a test data. Now go in Power BI, load this Excel data source, paste data. All right, so here you see your data, which is like in a unstructured manner. So let's convert it. What you need to do? First record, first row is like useless for you, right? So what you want to remove it, right? So do one thing, just remove the first one. Okay. How? Remove top row, or directly also you can remove. For example, if like 1, 2, 3 records you want to remove directly, just go here, remove top 3 rows. Now this should be the column header for you. So what you can do, go here and use first row as header. All right. Now here you got the data in the structured format. Okay. Whatever the data you have, if it is in the tabular format, that can be easily converted. Okay. Maybe like within 3 steps you can convert it, or like based on that data structure, maybe 6 steps, maybe 10 steps. Okay. But you can clean that. Did you got my point? If column is in merged format, that will be like treated here as a like single column. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. That's all from my side for today.